Hey, this is Samar Newsome, and you're tuned in to the Musician Shed podcast. That was good. All right. So today we have with us one of my great friends, Miss Syreeta, the trumpet. What do you call it? Trumpet lady. The trumpet lady.
Trumpet lady.
All right. So, and I'm just excited because this is a friend of mine who I've known for over 20, has it been 25 years?
Don't call them out. Let's stay at 20 because you go too further.
Over 2 decades.
It's going to tell the age.
Yeah, exactly. So over 2 decades. And I mean, you know, I've seen, we started at Rutgers together. Mason Gross.
Yeah.
She was a young trumpeter. I'm a young singer, you know, trying to put our thing together,
you know,
trying to learn and get our skills up and stuff like that, which, you know, you got to be skilled in this business. And so, like, first of all, just tell us where you from, Syreeta.
Well, I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, by way of New Orleans, Louisiana. My family, my mother, they're all Creole. And so my mother is French. Wow. And I'm African American, and my dad is just a Southerner, and so they migrated to Chicago. But I still have a rich heritage in Louisiana. Like all my family is still in Louisiana, but I was born and raised in Chicago.
Wow, that's crazy that you say that, because now that just reminded me. I just got to see the Louis Armstrong story,
the documentary.
Yes,
which one on Apple?
Not that one, the Broadway show.
Oh yeah.
Wonderful World. What a Wonderful World. And it was amazing. And just learning his story, like how he started in New Orleans and ended up in Chicago, and then just, of course, toured LA, all the places.
He's a trumpet player. It's one of the greatest.
Exactly. I'm like, yo, so you walking in a nice lineage.
Yes. Well, Joe King Oliver. You know,
he followed him too.
Yeah, he for Joe King Oliver. You know, Joe King Oliver used to stand on, before New Orleans was developed. He would stand on the hill, because they did have hills in New Orleans. Wow. And he would stand and just practice. Wow. And so Louis Armstrong studied with Joe King Oliver, and it's just a lineage.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater play. He actually followed. He actually went to Chicago because Joe King was there.
Yeah.
And so first Joe King was here in New Orleans, and then he followed him there. So,
and you know, Joe King Oliver, he was known for his sound.
Right.
Because you can hear
his trumpet sound.
Because his sound was big and fat and round, and you could hear his sound across the entire city of New Orleans.
Wow.
So that's what made him Joe King Oliver.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And again, you're from that same mud, if you will.
Well, yeah, mud, not lineage, but definitely the mud of it. Yeah,
you're
from the fabric.
Your folks walk those same streets, and were influenced by that same style, even all the way to Chicago. So.
Yeah, all the way to Chicago. I never thought about it like that, but yeah, because you know, even when I first started playing, you have to develop your sound.
Yes. And
it's, where do you develop your sound from? You know, you have to study the greats to develop your sound.
Absolutely.
And so I didn't study a lot of, I did my studies a little different. I started with more the urban, and then the more I began to study, I went back to Joe King Oliver. And understood how he and Louis Armstrong, their phrasing and the sound that they got out of the trumpet.
Yeah, that's crazy. And a lot of, trumpet, Louis basically like the GOAT when it comes to that stuff. And I see even Wynton Marsalis, also from New Orleans.
Absolutely. Terrence Blanchard.
Yeah, so y'all got crazy.
Well, Terrence is actually how I got to the East Coast.
Oh, wow.
Terrence and Wynton.
Okay.
Actually, I was just studied before you and I met at at Rutgers. I actually went to Southern University.
Okay, so you were in the band, marching band?
No, they ain't want girls.
Wow.
And I was okay with it.
That's a whole nother subject.
Yeah.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, and I was okay with it. Because it's hot down there. It's hot, it's like 95 degrees with the humidity at 90% out there in combat boots marching up and down. And they start in July with all them football games and stuff. So they didn't want they didn't want girls in the band.
That's crazy.
But
you
see,
was good with it.
I was fine with it because I didn't want to be in it. Right. So, I wanted to play gigs and stuff. So I went down there to study with Alvin Baptiste.
Oh, okay.
The uncle of John Baptiste.
Wow.
So Alvin Baptiste is
and he's from New Orleans too?
He's from New Orleans. So Alvin Baptiste is a jazz clarinetist.
Okay.
He created the tone roll. So I went to Southern to study with him. And when I was at Southern, I used to chase Winton around when they would come to the jazz festivals.
Wow.
And and I told him that I wanted to study with who he studied with. And he turned around and he said, "Oh yeah." I said, he was like, they said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Yeah, absolutely." I said, I don't want no autograph. I want a lesson. He said, "Well, then you need to go study with Prof." I said, "Well, where's Prof?" He said, "He's up at Mason Groves at Rutgers." That's how I got to Rutgers. Yeah, and Winton gave me his old trumpet case.
Wow.
And I carried it around, because when somebody that famous give you something that you admire, it's like, it was the raggediest trumpet case ever.
but it's from him.
It was the fact that he gave it to me.
Right.
He gave, I mean, it was raggedy. But the fact that he gave it to me was something that it meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
So he's how I got to Rutgers.
Wow. And I mean, that sense of history, to be connected to it again. You are from New Orleans. He's from New Orleans. I mean, family wise.
Yeah.
So I think that's a connection that God puts together. Those connections, like that's not by chance.
And I didn't think about it like that. Only thing I was thinking is I wanted to study the music.
Right.
I just wanted to be in the music. I had to go where the best was, and I had to study the music. It was all about the music.
Wow. So tell us about now you came from Chicago. You got to Mason Groves. How was that studying with Prof?
Well, getting to Rutgers was tough because when I was in high school, I was one of the top in high school. But then I didn't know what it took to go to music school.
Wow.
And so I didn't get accepted to Mason Groves.
Wow.
I got accepted to Southern, but I transferred up to
Mason Groves. Like what, 2 years?
No, I transferred. I came through Douglas College.
Oh wow!
I came through Douglas College and then transferred into Mason Groves. Then transferred out, and I graduated from Douglas College, but I still was able to get a music degree and study with Prof.
Wow!
Because I didn't have what it took. When I auditioned for Mason Groves, they auditioned 25 trumpet players, and I was 23 at the bottom.
Wow!
Because I didn't know nothing.
Right.
And so it's funny because
formal. You knew something. Did you until like the formality?
No, I didn't know nothing.
What do you mean you didn't know nothing?
No, I'm serious. Because Bat said to me, he said,
you couldn't be the best at high school and not know nothing.
Well, because I knew how to play by ear.
That's what I mean. Like the formal stuff. I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's what you needed to be in music school.
No, I agree. Listen, that's what I told you. My story. I ended up leaving not because I wouldn't say I knew nothing. What I knew was not what I needed to know.
Yeah, well, Bat told me. Let me tell you something about Bat told me. He said, Mr. Bat, he said, "You got a lot of talent, but you just don't know nothing." And I was,
that sounds like a nice Southern way to say it.
And guess what? I was like, I thought he was playing me a compliment. No, I thought he said, you got a lot of talent. You just don't know nothing.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I really thought he was paying me a compliment. Wow. Literally. I had no clue that I didn't know anything.
Right. You're like, yeah, well, I know what I know.
I knew because I knew I was playing in church on Sunday.
Right.
Because that's what I grew up on, playing in church. So, it still went off. But yeah, I grew up playing in church. So that's the only thing I knew.
Wow. That's kind of crazy.
No, that's
that's the same thing with me. I was playing in church already, so it wasn't like by the time my ear was very, very good, very strong. Mm-hmm. But you good? My ear was very strong, very good. You know what? I never put that on airplane. I don't know if we need to. You know how to do it quickly? Just swipe from the corner.
How many musicians you done had over?
I've had a lot of musicians. We haven't started the podcast. You're the first podcast guest.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Why, thank you.
Ladies first.
Why, thank you, Samar.
So where were we?
Oh, we was talking about at Rutgers.
Yeah. So even for me, like Rutgers was a struggle for me. I was saying like my first methods class, I realized like what they knew, the prior knowledge, I didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of reading.
I do know.
Because as a singer, you can learn stuff by ear a lot faster. Yeah. And I always felt like this school was for musicians and like band people that been in band.
Really, that's what you thought?
That's what I felt.
You really felt that way, Simone?
Yeah, because that's why I left. So I left.
For real?
I left Mason Gross because I felt like it was more rigorous than I was ready for. And when
because it's a conservatory model school.
It was good. I won't say it was bad, but what I realized is that it wasn't like I would say. How would I say this? It wasn't as good for a vocalist. That's how I felt because I felt like I was.
But Westminster. That's why you went to Westminster.
That was a vocalist
because
school.
That's a vocal school.
Exactly, and the challenges like that I think are consistent amongst vocalists.
I thought that you played the keyboard.
I do play the keyboards. And
I never knew that you were a vocal major.
I was a vocal major at Mason Gross.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I mean, I played the keyboard. That's what I'm saying. Like ear-wise, I had good training. And I think it was the keyboard skills that allowed me to still look better than I was.
I never knew that you were a vocal major, Samar.
Yeah, I was a vocal major.
I'm going to tell Brandon.
He probably didn't know that either.
No.
He used to get on me like, you got to practice your 2/5s. You got to practice your 2/5s.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, whatever.
Exactly. Like, yeah. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right. And neither do I care,
Later, I realized like, okay, he's talking about, the
music,
the cadence, right?
Yeah.
But, I didn't understand that.
Right.
Like,
I get it.
There was some basics I didn't know. And when I went to Westminster, I realized the importance of being in a place where they know what level you're at.
Mm-hmm. And it can groom you.
Yes. I mean, like we started at the basics of reading, which made it easy. I mean, I don't want to say easy, but like easier.
Like, to get through
when
it.
You get in the first do, re, mi, and not assuming that you know a lot of things because I didn't know how to read music. And in high school, you touched it, but that wasn't like part of the culture. I went to Irvington High School, and it wasn't like
my story is different. In Chicago, I went to a performing arts high school.
Wow.
And I studied with Mr. Vincent Chickowich of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra.
Wow.
And at Shorewood Conservatory, so I was taking private lessons.
Wow.
The entire time. I just didn't know enough.
Right.
Of what I didn't know, I was like, why I got to be playing long tones all day long? And I wanted to get to the stuff, but I didn't know that was going to lead me to.
It's going to get you to it, yeah.
And I had a lesson with Rob Magaha.
Oh, wow.
He was one of the trumpet players for the Tommies.
Okay.
And he's like, do you know all your scales? I mean, like, he shut me down. He's like, do you know all your scales? Of course, I didn't know all my scales. He was like, do you know your Dorian, your Phrygian, and this?
The modes.
Because I didn't think I need to know all that.
Right.
It's
like I got the major and the minor.
In church, I'm playing one note.
Right.
And playing whatever the line is. So I don't need to know all that.
Right.
So, but I needed to know it.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, to be a well-rounded musician, you need to know.
Yeah, and I'm glad I know it.
You need to know as much as you need to know. I mean, as much as you can, because there's so much to know. I mean, we're still learning. I know I am.
Yeah.
And I discovered things like, I don't know that. Or even if I know it, I don't have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually studied with somebody that really took it apart for me, a jazz musician, really dope dude. My man, Shedrick Mitchell.
Yeah.
And when I studied with Shedrick,
I know Shedrick.
I said, okay, this is eye-opening. Not that, look, I think I had great skills.
Oh, no, he's amazing.
But when I came to him, it was like, bruh, you good. And I was a musical director at a huge church,
he knows. He
was like, put things in perspective. Like, you know it, but you don't know it.
Yeah, when he did, when I started working on the body of work I'm working on now, he came in and did it, recorded in one take.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, one take, and just a wonderful person.
Yeah, very good person. That's my guy. Yeah. But so that again, that's late in my career too. Like just really getting a perspective of like this is really what it's like to have it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad I did. That was like around the pandemic, but I love that it happened because it opened up my mind, and it almost made me feel like I'm back in school again, and just kind of gave me a perspective on practicing and stuff like that. Like, I was a good musician, but I was a talented musician, like you said.
Yeah.
So a lot of opportunities came from the talent, not necessarily the work. And I put in work, but not as much as I thought.
Understood.
Like now that I think about it, I'm like, I put in a good amount of work, but not as much as I think. And I got a lot of opportunities. And so, I'm grateful that, there was work that I still have to do and still got to do, but I still was able to ascend to different levels. And, again, now I'm still like, I'm still at it.
No, but you're playing at churches and stuff. I mean, you're doing what you like to do.
Right. I'm enjoying it.
See, trumpet players, we can't do that.
Right. You have limited opportunities.
Very limited. Gigs. Like, we can't hold a church service down.
Right.
Because it's only three buttons. It's only 3 buttons up there. If they, we can play the melody and that's it.
Right. I got you. Nah, I understand.
I'll play a line in, but it's very limited. So you have to find other means.
Right.
So
that's a great segue. Let's talk about your career now. Let's talk about like from college, you got into the scene a little bit, and let's talk about what are some of the accomplishments you were able to do as a trumpeter. Now as a seasoned and a college, you graduated from Douglas.
Gotcha.
What are some of the things that you were able to do, like career-wise after that?
Well, when I left Rutgers, it was all about I wanted to hang out and tour. So I moved to New York, and I went to NYU. Okay. I got my master's degree at NYU.
Nice.
While at NYU, I did the Jill Scott tour.
Nice.
And I connected with
was that with Adam or
no?
Who's the
I was on the first record, the very first, the Who Is Jill Scott record.
Okay.
And so from there, while I was doing that, I ended up connected with Bishop Hezekiah Walker.
Nice.
And so, but it's funny because I connected with him because I needed a church to go to.
Wow. You just wanted to go to church because you've been
in it for so long.
Yeah.
And I knew, only thing I knew was playing my trumpet in church.
Got you.
I didn't know anything else. So I was in grad school and going to church, playing the trumpet.
Nice.
And then while in grad school, I studied with Frank Foster, jazz composition arranging.
Okay.
Frank Foster, who's the arranger for the Count Basie Orchestra.
Wow.
So I got a chance to really hone in on my arranging skills, arranging for big band at NYU and studying with Frank Foster.
Nice.
So that was a very big highlight. I also got a chance to study with Maurice Andreas.
Okay.
Of the New York Philharmonic.
Nice.
So that was because it's very different being a jazz trumpet
that's
player.
contrast. Like that's like classical and
jazz. It's a very different thought process that I had to kind of really. I actually had to stop playing at church for a while.
Wow.
Because I had to embrace studying classical music and really for the technique.
Right.
Really for the technique of it, and unfortunately. The classical world and gospel world don't communicate. Because it's two different thought processes.
Right.
So that was a huge transition. But then, I love Bishop Walker and I love fellowship. So of course, that. But my mother was like, I sent you out there to go to school and get a degree.
Right.
I did not send you out there to be at the church all the time playing and not getting your master's degree.
Right.
So I had to kind of.
Was that interfering with it?
Absolutely. Well, because there were rehearsals all the time. There's rehearsals, there's touring, there's traveling. But what
was that schedule like with Bishop Walker?
Very rigorous. It was very rigorous. So it was very rigorous. So I was with the church band,
okay,
not the Crusade Choir band.
Gotcha.
It's two different bands.
Yeah.
The church choir band, the church choir album and record came after.
The Crusade had been out for years.
Right, for years.
Grammys, everything.
Yes. So that they won 1 Grammy.
Okay,
with the Crusade Choir.
Album.
Calling My Name album.
Yeah.
I was on the Love Is Live album.
Okay.
And so
was that with the culmination of some of the other songs? Like they did those songs live or something?
Yeah, so Love Is Live we recorded live.
Okay.
And I forgot what year it was, but we recorded that live. So the rehearsal schedule alone, and it depends on when it comes time for recording or just, number one, all the songs before Bishop Walker records are sung and performed years ahead of recording.
I heard that. So, and the writer actually comes and teaches the song?
Absolutely.
Right.
So you get the feel of it.
Yeah.
But it's rehearsed before. That's the reason why there's so much perfection.
Yeah. Y'all been singing it for years.
You've been singing it for years.
Playing it. The musicians got the arrangements.
Been playing it down. But when it comes time to record, it's a different rigorous schedule.
Okay.
But like on there's a travel schedule, service schedule, and then there's a recording schedule.
Okay, talk us through those, because I think this is the kind of stuff that I think people don't know.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely, they don't know. Okay. I think again, perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you haven't done it, number one, you wouldn't know.
Well, nobody's ever asked me these questions.
Oh, but this is the stuff.
Like nobody's
so tell
ever
us each of those things, what those schedules look like.
Okay, so the preparation before recording is totally different than the musician at the church, because we wore two hats. Gotcha. I was a musician at the church, but just so happened the church, I was part of the church band that traveled with Bishop Walker and the choir to perform. So we had to be at Tuesday night Bible study.
That's because they want you to have a foundation.
You got to have a foundation, and you got to be in it.
Yeah.
And you got to be in it. You got to be able to serve, and you have to have the spirit of your passion.
So all the musicians were there?
All the musicians were there.
Wow.
And we had to be in prayer.
Wow.
Prayer started at 7. We couldn't be walking in at 7:15.
Right.
We had to be there at 7 on our knees in prayer.
Wow.
Prayer was from 7 to 8. And then Bishop Walker would come down. We would be in Bible study about 8:15 to about 9:30. Sometimes we would rehearse after Bible study.
Wow.
And so that rehearsal would start about 9:45 and it would go to 11:30 midnight. And then that was on Tuesday. And then
on a regular Tuesday.
Yeah, on a regular Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we had musicians rehearsal.
Okay.
That started at 5, but we really didn't start to 6.
Okay.
Because everybody got to get there.
Yeah.
Got to get there. People got to get there. That's just musicians rehearsal.
And what did that like? How much time was that?
We started at 5. Well, you get there at 5, you don't start to 6. We would go to 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Like 4-hour rehearsal?
Yes. Just the band itself.
And that's for Sunday, or that's for like what schedule?
That's for Sunday in preparing for a recording.
Okay, so how many songs? So you would be doing the songs on Sunday that are going to be in the recording?
They don't go like that.
So so you said you would perform these songs for 2 years ahead of time, but you'll be performing them on gigs? Or
they just be Sunday morning songs.
Okay, so you did, but not specific to
for the recording.
Gotcha.
Because when they record for the recording, it's just okay. We're gonna do this one. We're gonna do that one.
Gotcha.
It's already in the.
We already got it
in the bag. We already got it already. So that was.
But you worked them out. It's almost like you shedded them on Sunday.
On Sunday,
gotcha.
And in rehearsal. But then when it came time to recording, we added other little small nuances.
Gotcha.
To perfect it, and then we performed it again on. Maybe it depends on what Bishop will call. He may not recall what we rehearsed on Sunday.
Right.
Which we will all be upset. It's like, dang,
I want all of this.
Well, no, I'm like, I want to play my line. I didn't rehearse this line. I didn't get a chance to play my line. That's me as a trumpet player.
Yeah.
So the rehearsals. I mean, we had to rehearse, and then he would come to musician rehearsal. Bishop Walker come to musicians rehearsal.
Right.
And then, he would tell us what he liked and what he did not like.
Wow.
And he listened to every part. He knew every part of the song. Wow. He knew my parts of the song.
Wow.
And then he would ask me, Syreeta, you got your part down? You got your horn lines down? I need to hear this. I need to hear that. Yeah. He knew, and we all had parts.
Right.
So,
we got it. That's something to dissect right there.
Yeah, we all had. And I was the only woman in the band, girl in the band.
Wow.
I was literally. I was. But so we all had parts. So like Juwan, he played the organ part. Mm-hmm. Greg Kelly played the piano part.
Right.
Rob played brass, and then me, I was the top line for the brass. Mm-hmm. Dwayne on bass, Keith on guitar, and Jeffrey on drums.
Okay.
We didn't have percussion.
Wow.
But we all had parts to play. Like, it wasn't just...
Like just playing. And I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, like that that's something that I learned through Hezekiah Walker.
Really?
Yeah. As a young musician, studying like the albums with like How Much We Can Bear and stuff like that, you hear the parts very distinctly.
Yeah, we all had parts.
You hear the guitar and parts, not like just everybody playing the same chord.
No.
Register.
It was.
You hear specific parts,
and that was all intentional.
Absolutely, that's to me one of the most professional things about, like, you think about Bishop Walker, you think about James Hall. They also the same way.
Yeah, sure.
Melvin and my man, I forget the keyboard player.
Like all those intros,
but all of those things, like
all of that was very intentional.
Yeah.
Even like the parts that I played were very intentional. Syreeta, why don't you take the solo here?
Yeah.
Double the like. But the beauty about the Levites, our band, was that we had a lot of nonverbal communication. It wasn't a lot of discussing of, okay, you play that part, they play that part. It was like, it was so, because we were connected in prayer. And we were connected in prayer. A lot of stuff, like Joanna play a line, I pick up on that line, or Robert play a line, I pick up on, I play a line, and then Rob pick up on a line. And so, let's do that right there. Yeah. But Joanna will always lead with the signal to where to place that line at. Or Jeffrey would lead with the drumstick or something like that. We had a count off, and we know, but like Newborn Soul. Da 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 da. We all know that bump. Or like, do you know him? Da da da. Yeah. Do you know? We knew when Ronald went like this, we knew that was the time to go da 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 da. We and Juwan would look back and go like that, and so we knew that was that time to play that part.
Yeah,
and we had, because the format of the song was. It was the band and the choir.
Right.
It wasn't the choir. It was the band following the choir.
The choir up, yeah.
It was the band and the choir moving.
And they had their part.
Right. It was the band and the choir moving in sync together.
Yeah. Because even at that part of the song, that's when they go, do you know him?
Do you know my
Jesus? That's when they repeat that.
Do you know my Jesus?
Do you know him? Now they're just going to say, do you know him?
Do you know him? But then also too, the breakdown was the bass. We know there's some hits coming up there too.
Okay, got you.
And that was on my concert A flat, B flat.
Yeah.
And we had to hit those hits, dun dun, we had to watch each other when that
without really having a lot of communication about it.
No, it was
or verbal. I should
it was
say.
Definitely not a lot.
Because y'all didn't have like the MD microphones and all that stuff.
No one, no ears and.
That's crazy because that's so. I mean, look, it's helpful.
So let me ask you this: what do they be saying in those ears?
Oh, you can say anything. I mean, people could be talking about people, but I mean, it's really. So
is that what they saying in the ear?
I mean, that's not.
I don't know, but I know.
But I mean, it's really just communication. I mean, but there's conversations.
Are we going to the bridge?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, you got to think. Where we grew up in, because I've seen Hezekiah Walker and them live. I saw you playing with them live. And it was just musicians playing that was locked in.
Yeah,
not like, hey, all right, guys, this is the bridge, or da da da. That's
you
the line coming. You
miss a whole part by the time you talk through that.
No. I mean, there's an art to it. There's a way to do it, like in terms of doing it ahead of the time. That's why.
Okay, here we go. Four more
bars. Knows the whole song and could.
Okay, it kind of guides everybody through it.
Like I was on a gig where the MD was actually singing the next line that has to be sung.
Oh wow!
And I mean, did it in rehearsals. Like, we're gonna put it in the stems, and sometimes they'll put it in the stems, so you don't miss anything because you're gonna get a little cue of everything. Right. And like I said, it's helpful.
Yeah, sure.
To me, it can make you a little lazy because you don't have to remember anything. You don't. Well,
that's what I'm sitting there saying, because and that's a whole thing, right?
That's a whole different new culture.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you why, because that and to your point. It can bring down your musicianship level because it make you not pay attention. You think, it make you not pay attention.
Right.
Like with Bishop Walker, we had to pay attention because number one, we didn't know what song he was gonna call.
Yeah.
And so, but we had to have all the songs rehearsed to perfection when he called him.
Right.
And if he didn't like a song, he'll go part. If there's a part that he'll shake his head in a heartbeat because he's a perfectionist. A lot of people don't know he's really a perfectionist.
No, I think it shows in his career and how long and strong his career is going, because absolutely he's
and he knows what he wants.
Yeah. It's like almost unspoken that that he's a master at what he does. He's like ridiculous. Hold on one second.
Yeah, no, you good.
Hit control and the eject button, which is in the top left corner. I got it? Yeah. I don't know why it's doing that, because I said it, but
maybe the timing or something.
Yeah. I wish I could freeze it on here, but that's all right.
Yeah,
We'll edit that. Yeah,
you can fix that in edit.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely Hez is like one of the best that we've ever known, honestly. Yeah. And his sound is so distinct. Like,
well, and also he stays true to who he is.
Yeah.
And his whole mantra is songs for church.
Yeah. and he's consistently done it. Like, there's always something you hear from him that you're like, oh, that could be on a Sunday morning right there.
And that's what he's about.
Yeah.
Sunday morning church services.
So that's crazy, man. I mean, and his career is way longer even than we know, because he was doing it before we really knew it. He was already having like his own choir.
I didn't even really know who he was when I first came to the church.
Okay.
I remember I was coming from
Chicago,
and I came from a trained background.
Okay.
Of classical and jazz.
Got you. So that had nothing to do with gospel.
No, I played in church, right? But I didn't know anything about playing I knew about playing in a band, but not in a gospel professional band,
right?
I
like
knew
a professional touring, recording.
I had no clue of any of that, so I had to rise to the occasion,
right?
Like I tell you a funny story. We were doing a reunion. They were doing Easter concert or something like that. And I was responsible for the horns. I'm like, okay, I'm going to write these parts out. And so for me, that's a big thing.
They do an Easter concert every year. Like a big one.
Yes. But I was going to write and we did the Tommies. And I'm like, oh man, I'm going to write these. Because, as a musician and an arranger, for you to sit and write out music is a big thing.
A big thing, yeah.
And so I had my scoring pad. This is an honest to God story. I had my scoring pad and everything. I'm writing out measure by measure to the song, because this is what I was trained to do. Right. Not knowing that I was walking into an environment that they don't use any of that.
They don't use none of that.
But see, I don't know that though.
Yeah. I mean, but it's still important tools. I mean, like I've been on gigs where I've written all of the charts out and then only for the arrangement to be basically at the helm of whoever's leading.
And that's what it was. The arrangement didn't matter because we still in there counting measures.
Exactly.
And they in a whole different place.
But I find that it's important to have that, like especially like horns and stuff like that. Like you can't direct. Like I could use any horns when I have the charts. I could just get guys or girls who can play and just say, "Here, this is the chart." We're counting them in and
know where they're at.
If they know the style, because sometimes the rhythms are a little bit more syncopated. But
what it taught me was, number one, don't be so rigid,
right?
Because coming from classical is very exact.
It's what's on the paper. That's it.
But see, man, I came from that not knowing that in gospel you can't be exact.
Right.
So that was a huge transition for me. And in jazz, everything is somewhat exact.
Right.
With a very little leeway.
Right.
But, jazz is more note specific, but classical is more time specific. But when you go into gospel, you have to have meshed both together and feel and flexibility. Yeah. But I didn't know that. So I'm looking at the chart that I wrote and I'm trying to figure out, why are they not at measure 38? Why,
Right.
So that was a big transition. And after I just had to throw it out.
Yeah. You just got to okay, I think we're here, or find your place and find different cues.
Yeah, I had to find, I didn't know, I didn't know what.
I get it. I get that. And I think what you adopt as a system of just, instead of having a rigid, like measure by measure, you just kind of have parts. Like, okay, this section, then
I
this
never thought
section.
about it like that.
Yeah, I know plenty of musicians, and I've brought in some musicians that were really rigid like that to gospel situations.
They don't do well.
You know what it is? Again, it's about approach, because these are some of the guys, and I mean, you're talking about Juilliard musicians, high level musicians, and what we would do is we did gigs on on the like cover band circuit, casinos, all that stuff, and so what I learned being a musical director in that situation was that you got to give them something to follow, so they can still have the music, but it's like, you got to cue when to read.
Yes.
And then cue like, okay, now it's off. And then they would talk amongst each other, say, okay, we're coming in at 38.
Yeah.
And then be like, okay, and we start here. And they would kind of conduct themselves through the music.
Yes.
Because nobody else is using the music.
Right.
The singer's not using the music.
Yeah.
Rhythm's not using the music.
And they glued to the paper.
They have the paper. And I mean, a lot of times we would bring in subs. And the sub, that's all they got is the music. They don't have any idea like, okay, we do this more times than was written.
Yeah, because now they're gonna be asking questions. Now, where's the van? What measures this?
Exactly.
What measures that?
Oh, we repeating this? Yeah. And where do we go back to repeat that? So it's definitely a learning curve. But again, if you're a musician, I think you should learn all of those things.
Yes.
You should have all of those skills and have the flexibility. Not everybody's going to use it, because I think if you're in the New York Philharmonic, you're going to be in the New York Philharmonic. You're going to do things that way. But if you're somebody who's going to do things in a more diverse way, like, okay, I want to play a little bit of this, I might do a jazz gig, I might do a gospel gig.
You got to diversify.
You have to rethink in all of those
Absolutely,
situations.
Absolutely.
So, out of all of the places you've been, now we talked about those different scenarios, the schedule. We didn't get too far into the schedule.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So going back to the schedule, Sunday morning, we had to be at church by 10:15 because we had to be in prayer 15 minutes to 11.
Wow.
So we had to be, prayer was with just musicians and the choir. So service started at 11:30, I believe. So we prayed at 10:45 because we had to have sound check. And we had to have musicians prayer.
So that's a 45 minutes before the service starts, you guys will get there? And that's for prayer and sound check.
Prayer, sound check.
Can you touch upon something? I got to talk about something. I was just at a gig, and I had a gig in London. And one of the headliner, they probably did a 2-hour sound check. And when I say like one of the other artists we were talking, he's like, is this sound check or rehearsal? Have you been in those scenarios? And
Absolutely.
Probably not with Hez, but like in other places.
Those two.
Okay.
Like when we did Radio City Music Hall, the setup all day started at 8:30 in the morning.
Now that's different because you don't rehearse in that space. So you're actually
they rehearsed
in Radio City?
Yes.
With all of the recording stuff?
Well, you got to get set up first.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you got to get
a setup time.
The setup time, but the sound check was rehearsing we're going through the songs. But we rehearsed way before Radio City. Like, yeah. So like, okay, like as you were saying, like the rehearsal time, going to that, like Radio City Music Hall, if that concert's on that Saturday night, we rehearsed that entire week.
Gotcha.
Starting at 5.
Because it's a recording, yeah.
Starting at 5 o'clock, and we would go to 12, 1, 2, and 3 in the morning.
Right.
Monday through, if Radio City's on that Saturday, we start rehearsing on that Monday. Actually, it's Sunday before, after service.
Wow.
It's like, church, go get something to eat, come back and rehearse. And so that's why we all were so tight.
Yeah. You had like a family situation.
Yeah, because we were around each other most of the time.
All the time.
So, so we had to rehearse like places like Radio City. And so when people hear, but like the day of, the setting up is insane.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh,
it's a lot of details.
It's a lot of details. And then the band, I'm the last one. It's just a microphone,
Right.
But I still had to have.
But it's still mix. It's still, all of those layers.
Yeah, and then when in Union Hall, so, they take a 2-hour break.
Yeah. You're on their schedule.
Right. Then, and Bishop, he didn't come to sound check.
Right.
The band did the sound check.
Right.
And then like Ronald Craig, they did his microphone. Because he was busy doing, the directors, he was busy doing other things.
Yeah.
In preparation for everything.
Absolutely.
And then, so we would be at Radio City, we would be at the hall at 8:30 and 9 in the morning.
Wow.
And we didn't go until 10 o'clock that night.
Right. But y'all getting in place, putting things together. I mean, like, so that makes sense. But now the situation I was in, one, I'll tell you a few, like, because, I've been in church situations where you have a lot of time, and so because you have the time, you use the time.
Sure.
But a lot of the time ends up being used for rehearsal.
Sure.
It's like we know the music or we don't know the music.
Right,
that's what it comes down to. But even like this thing in London, there was the headliner. You're the headliner. You're gonna get some time. But I mean, they were in there like rehearsing the songs, and not necessarily like fix this thing in the microphone. They would go through a whole song and then be like, yeah, I feel like my microphone is like, I'm like, yeah, you could have said that like a line into your verse. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that sounds like someone that's not professional.
What you said it, not me.
You know,
but yeah,
you're more professional.
That's what we were saying. Like, because then one of the artists who toured around the world with Madonna, he said, listen, I'm gonna get up there and I'm gonna sing a couple of lines of my song, make sure my ears, my monitor's right, and that's it. That's really what it is. Like, it's not, this wedge is not the same as this, and and again, those are details, but like,
yeah, but those are details.
You're a background singer, though.
Yeah.
Because the lead singers ain't come. It's the background singer. So I mean, again, these things happen, but I think that we got to normalize.
So how did you deal with that? Because
sound check is sound check.
Rehearsal is rehearsal. Yes.
And I think there's a time frame for both.
I agree with you. And I think you should rehearse at home.
Absolutely.
Before you come to a professional situation, because, like being someone that has played in a band and then I've been in both scenarios. Mm-hmm. I've been the person out front and I've been the person behind the scenes.
Yeah.
When you person behind the scenes are part of a band and there's I personally feel that musicians are geniuses. Because we have to work in every kind of environment.
Yeah.
The same thing that you do at a small club is the same thing that you do on the big stage. Mm-hmm. And we work with so many different personalities.
Yeah.
And the reason I also feel that music is the universal language, because you and I, A is A in America, Russia, China, just Czechoslovakia is going to always be A.
A440.
A is going to always be that way. But now the person that when you're in the forefront, the lead person, that you're the headliner, you don't have time to deal with all of those things because there's so many other things that's going on. You're dealing with press, you're dealing with staff, you're dealing with PR that you got to deal with. You got to deal with the promoter. You're dealing with a lot of things that musicians don't even know about that are happening. You're dealing with tour managers. You're dealing with, it's a whole nother, tickets got to be sold. Sometimes ticket sales are short. And so the artist has to know about those things.
Yeah, yeah.
That
you're privy to more information.
Yeah, the musician's job is to show up and play the music. And that's it.
Yeah.
Now, do we get all that all the time? Sometimes they're fun, but I think that goes into professionalism.
Yeah, for sure. That's good.
Oh, I was going to finish telling you about the schedule.
Yeah, so I mean, we started.
Okay.
You said Bible studies on Tuesday, and I think I interrupted you about the prayer and Bible study.
That's okay.
What else do you have?
Oh, okay. So that was that schedule. When we're getting ready to travel, we still kept the same.
Hold on, before you get there.
Yes.
Tuesday. I think this was just a Sunday schedule,
regular Sunday. Yeah, this is a weekly schedule.
Tuesday
Bible study
and prayer.
Wednesday musician rehearsal. Thursday band rehearsal, and then choir rehearsal, and then Friday sometimes we had to travel.
Okay.
And then be back for Sunday morning service. Wow. Then on the Friday night we would have to. It depends on we had to go to LA.
So you just had one day off Monday. Pretty
much, yes.
Wow.
But if it was
like a Broadway schedule.
If it was recording time, there is no Monday off.
Wow.
Because we had to be tight.
Now I'm gonna ask a question. You don't have to answer it if you want to. As a musician in I would call a very high level band, high level recording choir. Because I'm gonna ask another question.
Yeah, asking away. I'm hoping
we can edit if we need to. But what was, because I know a lot of musicians, one of the draws of any gig is pay. Mm-hmm. So if you got me out 6 days out the week, my question is going to be like, what you paying me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So did you feel like, and again,
I'll answer.
You could just tell me what it was, like, not what it was, but like, was it comparable to spending 6 days, or was it like you really paid for this one thing or these couple things, but you're volunteering these other days?
No, it wasn't. The recordings, yes.
Okay.
But
That probably had a record label budget to it or something like that.
Yeah, but yes. Now it's funny that you should even say that, because at the time where I was at in my career, and I can always speak. I could speak for the rest of most of the band too. We all wanted to be there.
Right.
I say, I know that sounds real bad.
No. I understand that.
We all wanted to be there.
Right.
And we love Bishop Walker.
Right.
And we love our church, and we love, because he ingrained that in us.
Right.
That's why, even if you probably talk to some of the others, we all probably sound the same a little bit, probably. Mm-hmm. But was the pay worth 6 days? No. It just wasn't.
Right.
It just wasn't. But we all wanted to be there, so I don't think we focused on the pay.
Right. Which is important.
Then and then also too, when you're younger, you don't have the same responsibilities.
Right.
Right.
And life that home.
Yeah, you don't have any of it. I'm just apartment living in New York. I'm having myself a good time. Because remember, that was Bishop Walker's recording skills. I was a part of. Remember, people don't know this. I actually told Bishop too when we was interviewing for my film. I was going down to the Blue Note afterwards.
Right. So
at the church.
Anyway.
My day didn't end at 11 o'clock.
Right.
My day ended at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
Because I was going to jam sessions.
Yeah.
Me and Brad was going to hit at Smalls.
Wow.
So I would go to church, go to my rehearsal and everything. Then
you go hang out.
Then I'm going to hang out. Because I'm going to sit in and play some jazz.
Which is the lifestyle of a jazz musician.
And that's what I was. So I was having myself a good time. I was doing music 24/7.
Wow.
My mindset was, I took care of my spiritual. Now I'm going to play and take care of music.
Yeah.
I got my spiritual. This is what
balance.
I did. Yeah, and I went to go play music. I was playing music all day long.
Right.
And I was having a good time.
Yeah. That's great.
That's literally how I was thinking about it.
All right. So now let's change a little bit. So it's a recording time. Mm-hmm. What was that schedule like? Monday through
so Sunday. Every day we're recording. Musicians rehearsal will start after service on Sunday, and actually on Saturdays we rehearse.
Wow.
We would start around 12 or 1. We would end around 6 or 7 because we had to be back the next day.
Wow.
And so musicians rehearsal started after service, go get some meat, come back. Start at 5. Choir come in at 8.
And how far out from the recording were you guys doing?
2 to 3 months.
Months of weekly recording?
Yes.
Of rehearsals, I should say?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because it has to be perfect.
You got to get it there, yeah.
Yeah,
and this is after knowing those songs, though. It's not like you didn't know those songs. Like,
this is
after we're going to do a new song today.
Oh, no.
These are songs you know, but now you're working on nuance, you're working on...
And perfecting parts and things like that.
Is the choir in those rehearsals, too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
the choir's there every day, too?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, and Bishop is there. He, now we all looking scruffy. We all, because we putting in the work. We putting in the work. We all in sweats, and we done sweat it out, play it out. I mean, we need water and everything.
It's work. Like, anything. It's not a dress rehearsal or anything like that.
And no one knew that's what it took.
That's what it takes.
That's what it took to get the sound.
Yeah.
The consistency of the sound.
Wow.
And this is not talking about overdubs afterwards.
Yeah.
So that's why when we recorded, to hit that choir sounded like that on Sunday morning.
I mean, that's still one of the best.
And that was no overdubs.
Right.
The band sounded just like that. When we went to do overdubs, it was adding some percussion.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But everything was clean. Everything was how it was. We did not go in the studio and do overdubs of keyboards and
right.
None of that.
It was clean.
Because it was.
You already had it.
And also too, that's how you get the live feel that was there.
Yeah. That's great. All right, so let me ask you this question. Yeah. How has those experiences with Bishop Walker contributed to your musicianship today?
Well, a lot of people don't know this, but he gave me the name Trumpet Lady. Matter of fact, we were doing a photo shoot and for Love Is Live, and we were, and he says, Syreeta, I think you should take this with your trumpet. And I was like, really? Okay. And everybody in the band had a name, and he just started calling me Trumpet Lady.
Wow.
And so that's how I became Trumpet Lady. So his discipline, first of all, he's such a great man of character and integrity, but his discipline as an artist and as a business person really taught me a lot. But also too, keep in mind, I was at Lincoln Center with Winton during that time too. Remember, I was doing music 24/7.
Yeah.
So when because I was in grad school too. So the days I wasn't with Bishop Walker, because rehearsal started at 5.
Right.
I was at Lincoln Center.
Right.
Up at Lincoln Center with Winton in the pit.
Right.
I was like the little sister to them.
Gotcha.
So I was learning. I was getting both. I would go from Lincoln Center to Brooklyn to rehearsal.
Wow.
So having 2 different type of artists, Winton is classical and jazz, and Bishop Walker's is gospel, but their work ethic is the same.
Right.
So what I learned most from Bishop Walker is his discipline as an artist, how he treated people, how he ran his staff. That's what I picked up from him, how he navigated things. A lot of people don't know that Bishop Walker was always present, even though you didn't see him.
Wow.
He was always present. He knew everything that's going on. There's times sometimes he couldn't come downstairs for rehearsal, but he knew everything. He knew every song we was rehearsing. He knew everything that was going on.
Wow.
And he knew every song and every part.
That's amazing. I mean,
he's savvy like that.
Yeah. I think it just shows like he's not a fly-by-night artist. He's somebody who grinded when he needed to grind and still understands that and still approaches his business that way.
And also I learned how he put everything he has done, he's done it with excellence. Radio City Music Hall, the concerts on Easter, which are still going on, they're done with excellence.
Yeah, they're it's crazy because you in a local setting you'll see concerts all the time, right? And they're just
he knows
they call the midnight musicals.
Yeah, and he knows everything that's going on in that moment.
But his concert is literally a concert that you would pay for at a bigger place.
Yeah.
And he's just putting on an Easter concert.
Yep.
I remember my cousin was playing for Youthful Praise. He played trombone.
Yeah.
And it was one of his concerts. And he has his peers are there, all of the artists that you love.
And people just want to come and be a part.
Exactly.
And also everybody just want to come in. Like one thing what I also learned, and I had learned to appreciate, was the camaraderie of artistry.
Yeah.
That's so. Remember I was saying how we just wanted to be there.
Yeah.
We really all liked each other.
Yeah, that's great.
And if there was a falling out, we talked about it.
Yeah.
Like he would chew us out. We got chewed out. I've got chewed out before.
Yeah.
We would talk about it. Family, you're gonna have problems. Right. But we all wanted to be there. Like, so it's like just like how you and I haven't seen each other in 20 plus years. We just pick up where we left off, and
absolutely,
it's the exact same thing. If he called me right now, I'm gonna pick up and go.
Yeah.
Because that's just how we operate. Anybody from So I learned that from him. Everything he does it with excellence. Everything is done with excellence. And also he doesn't spare any expense.
Right.
For perfection.
That's great. That's great to hear.
No.
I ain't gonna get into
his production.
No, I'm sure.
He spares.
But so here's the thing. As a musician, there's gigs and on gigs, the whoever's paying you gonna pay you based on whatever the gig is. I've seen Love Fellowship before, and I've seen them on a gig in Newark before,
right.
And I've seen musicians like, yo, better have my money,
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Just the regular gig stuff.
And see that. I think those things kind of go into. Remember, also we were at a church band,
right?
So we were.
Y'all already connected.
We were connected. We were connected. It's a gig mentality. We were not gig musicians,
right?
Because we were connected to the church. The other thing is too, and I want to share this with you.
There's some churches I've played at where outside of the church service, it's a gig,
right? But what I'm saying,
I get a lot of the musicians.
But what I mean is this, and this is on God. When I said we function because we wanted to be there, okay, like one time, and Bishop knows this. we were in LA. He took us shopping.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know those things.
Right.
I think that same time in LA or another time in LA, we took his limo.
Wow.
And we went joyriding and ate off it.
Wow, that's great.
You know what I mean? So like, I think we kind of like.
I think that was great. That was a
but
nice...
I honestly think we like the perks better.
Right.
You know, like I never get one time. Me, him, and Juwan went to the Cheesecake Factory. Not Cheesecake Factory, but Junior's.
Okay, in Brooklyn.
Yeah, when I graduated from my master's degree, he was one of my adjudicators.
Wow.
You know, and my mother made tuna. I was so serious. It was the simplest things like that. He was, you know, he's one of my, and he didn't know what he was adjudicating.
Right.
You know, he was at my, but the fact that he came.
Yeah. No, I've seen him a lot of places over the years. I mean, some, of course, with the choir and stuff like that. But I think I saw him at a college in Pennsylvania doing something by himself. I mean, he's been on radio, like, to me, before radio was like a popular thing for artists to do. He was doing it. Now almost every artist is on radio.
Yeah,
Marvin
but I
Sapp,
guess the thing
everybody.
is, too, we didn't think so much about money, you know, because money is a big thing.
Yeah, it's a factor.
You know, because we wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And I actually, I'm glad you asked me that question because I had never been asked that question, and I had never thought about it. It was like, I mean, now I can't just do it like that because life is different. Yeah. You know, it's different because, you know, you have more responsibility. So I can't commit as much time.
Yeah. Well, you can't afford to give up time that you need to be able to get your resources.
Absolutely.
To not get something in return for your time.
Yeah. And then also, too, gospel doesn't pay.
Well, so that's the part I was saying. Yeah. Like, even if you were on a gig, it wasn't paying crazy anyway. It was just like something that it's almost like church, like, you know, those old churches you used to play for back in the day.
You
where
can't
they like,
survive off
we give you a chicken sandwich and, you know, and $50 or something.
Well, nowadays, even $300 and $400, you can't survive off.
Right.
That's Sunday
and
meal.
You wasn't getting that back in the day.
No, not on Sunday morning. No,
I'm talking about
recordings
even on a gig. I'm talking about like a gig, like like I said. I remember a musician saying, "Yo, you know, they were probably getting like $100 to come do a gig."
Really? No, we get more than
this is in the 90s, though. This is. I'm
trying to think when I was there.
But again, also, I'm talking about. I think everything's relative. You're talking about like a concert where there's a promoter versus. You're just going to a church and you're doing concert. Okay,
but no, our concerts, we got paid for our concerts.
That's what I'm saying.
And we got paid more than $100.
No. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you also came in after Love Fellowship is kind of established at a certain level. But you know what,
Samar? You bring us so many amazing things because I never thought about it. You know, when I was with Bishop, I didn't even think twice
about that part of it.
Well, no, I'm telling you, I didn't even think. You know, and forgive me because maybe I'm on a slow bus, but I didn't think twice that I was performing with a top tier person.
But you were.
I was oblivious to all of that.
Grammy Award winning.
But I didn't know. You got to remember, I was oblivious to any of that.
Because that wasn't the world you came from.
Exactly. Remember, I came from classical and jazz.
Yeah, and even, it's crazy because I want to just say this, even church, like even though I'm sure you played in church before that, but church has different levels to it, like musically. Like there's church where, church, I'll give you a perfect example. Now you go into church, what they call praise and worship
is very different.
Way different even now than what it was in 2000.
True. You're right, yeah.
But even before, when we were growing up, 80s, 90s, it was devotional service.
That's right.
It was hymns. And
also the culture of church has changed.
Absolutely. So I'm saying, like, putting things in that perspective, I think even as a musician, the demand of repertoire has changed. Like, you go to churches where they want to sing something new 52 weeks out of the year. It's like, bruh, when I grew up in church, we probably recycled 10 songs over 2 years.
And they all were the same key, same tempo, same speed.
Same
just go
singers,
for one.
You know what I mean? Like, and one person leading and just everybody harmonizing.
I know it was the blood. I know it was the blood. I know it was the blood for me. And one day when you died, he died on the cross. Yes, Lord, keeps ringing in my soul.
Yeah, same song.
Yes, Lord, keeps ringing in my soul.
Almost like spirituals.
Yeah, it's the same song saying same. Yeah.
But now you got, I mean, listen, with the elevation comes different expectations.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's why I think a lot of the financials had to change too.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
well, how are you doing with the change and
musician.
transition?
I mean, listen, as a college person, like, you know, I'm a music teacher also. So like there's a certain skill set that I've been able to attain over the years that allows me to be flexible. Like, you know what I mean? I can play things. We sang spirituals and classical, and I had to read that in college. But then as a musician, I've played at all types of different churches, like where some you got to read. You know, I remember I was at an AME church that Brandon used to be at. I was at that church, and you know, at some point, one of the pastors came in and said, I want to do every song in the hymn book. Like,
you had to read all those hymns.
Just felt like that they were under singing, like underrepresenting the hymn. And like, you know, people just do the hymns they know for the most part. So she said, no, we're going to go through the book. And that was a challenge for me because I didn't know all the hymns.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? I grew up with some of them. I knew some of them, but I had to go home and practice and read and challenge myself because that was a challenge for me at one point. But you know, those are things that you as you grow as a musician, you're glad you had that challenge because sometimes if we don't get challenged, we don't do those things. We don't learn that diversity.
That is true.
And so, you know,
because you were forced to learn it.
Exactly. It was part of the job description at that point. So, I mean, for me, I've been fortunate. I'll call it fortunate to be able to learn different levels of musicianship, playing with top tier artists, playing at a small church.
Yeah, but also just because you're diverse. You were diverse.
And you have to be diverse. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it really helps. I mean, you know, I have friends who are on all of those levels, like high level, mid level, just starting out, or really good, like just getting good. But one thing in common is the people who study have a lot more opportunity to me. And it's not necessary. Like that. I remember a kid that was like a virtuoso. Matter of fact, he plays for Hez now, Jabari.
Oh yeah,
I remember Jabari.
Amazing.
Jabari was like a virtuoso as a teenager.
Really, he's amazing.
I remember telling him, I said, bro, you should study. And not because he didn't have it. He had it. Sure. Like, but I felt like his natural ability
he's amazing.
Enhanced because of it. Like, I mean, he understood things that I didn't understand until I studied. And so his natural ability was just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Ridiculous. So that to me, now, again, whether you study or not, it doesn't matter. You're going to develop one way or the other.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of places to develop.
Absolutely.
To me, studying is just a formal way to do it. But actually,
I think you need it if it depends on how far you want to go.
True, but guess what? I realize now too, as a teacher too, these days there's so many resources. Like I have students who learn things that I had to go study with somebody or I had to go watch somebody physically. It's on YouTube. It's, you know, you could watch Corey Henry and pick up something that he got. He got a lot. But, you know, you might pick up something. And now at 12, 13, 14 years old, you're doing stuff that I couldn't do at 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? Because you have access. Right, I mean, like, you know, Sebastian Wheat, when he had Wheatworks, those videos. Right. Those things were things that gave people access to like basically formal training, if you will. Not necessarily all the understanding of why we're doing this, all the theory, but the access to the doing.
That is true.
And you know, sometimes we get stuck in theory and we never apply it. That's one.
And sometimes you don't need it. You don't need it.
That's the crutch of school, though. You know, we could argue that too. Like sometimes school will make us feel like we know some things.
That's true.
But we never been out in the world to apply it.
Apply real world experience.
Exactly. And so to me, both are important, or both can be important. But I think, you know, I'm blessed to have been able to kind of be exposed to all of it.
And to both.
Yeah.
And you're good at what you do.
Man, praise be to God.
You still doing it.
True. You know what? I think for me,
I mean, you got shirts.
It's merch, but for
that's
me,
what I'm saying.
For me, it's just I've always been fascinated with how things work.
Okay,
and so being fascinated with how things work, I always want to learn more.
The minutiae,
and I think that learning, being a avid learner, like I said, I studied with Shed just 4 years ago.
I love him,
and so to me, I'm in my 40s already, and I'm taking lessons with somebody, but because I'm like, yo, there's things I don't know.
Well, because you know what? Because I think we're all a student of learning, no matter age we're at.
Not all of us, but I think it's important to be. I think when we are, we have the capacity to continue growing.
Well, Winter told me, he said, he who is the student is also the teacher. And he who is the teacher is also the student.
Wow.
And so I think that when he told me that, I was like, oh, because he's very philosophical. So I was like, okay.
Yoda.
Master
Yoda.
Yeah, no, he's very philosophical. You have to be like, oh, okay, yeah.
Let me think about it.
Let me think about you. And it be like 4 hours later, that's what he was saying.
Right.
So, and I was like, yeah, that's what he was saying. But
I get it now.
Yeah, but you don't want to.
In that moment, you want to.
You just want to be like, yeah, absolutely. I know exactly what you're saying.
Right.
So I think, and to your point, like certain situations, professional situations, I've been at gospel, I found that my studying, it helped. Like I was on a scoring stage in LA, and thank God I knew what I was talking about, knew that I was looking at the score, because when you have an orchestra in front of you and you have a somewhat of a botched up score, and some of the winds are off and the string parts are off, and you got to make quick changes.
Alter,
that's when it kind of kicks in.
Where you see where your skills.
Yeah, you see where your skills
is,
and you have to work quick.
Yeah,
and it goes back to kind of how you were saying being flexible, and the other. How you were saying like maybe with some, okay, this is the part you're gonna read, this is the part you're not. So like I learned, and because like with the orchestra, they have a different terminology.
Absolutely,
they call holding whole notes. They call them holding footballs.
Yeah, footballs. Yeah.
And I was like, so I had to listen differently. It's like, okay, they call it holding footballs.
But it's just a whole note.
It's just a whole
note. Or it's a measure.
Or like if, you don't want, when they go to play the music, oh no, the cello part is in the treble clef. Why is it in the treble? So you have to know, and why am I playing what the bassoon is playing? Why so you have to kind of know. I had to learn in that instance. I was happy at that time to be able to kick in the stuff I had learned.
So I think to that point, one thing, I'm from Newark, right? I was born in Newark. So one of the things from being in Newark is that, or just I think probably most urban areas, you don't want to feel like you don't know something, or you don't want to act like you don't know something. So you kind of adapt to being able to be like, yeah, I understand that. Just like you said when Winton talked to you, like, you didn't get it, but you like, but you know how to respond to just continue the conversation.
Yeah.
And so like one of the things in being adaptive is just like, I know that. Even if you don't fully know it.
Right.
But I think me being somebody who wants to take things apart, I did learn to adapt communication. That's really the key thing. Learning all of those different ways to approach music gives you better communication. So as a musical director, I remember being able to talk to the horn parts that have the score and say we're at measure 51, and then talk to the bass player who probably don't read and be like, yo, the groove is this, the feel is this. And so it's just really having different communication styles for whomever you're talking to, because that's really the gig. Is how can I tell everybody what they need to know
at that moment
the way that they hear it. Because I could make you say, okay, we reading the score, but you don't read the score. That doesn't help if I'm communicating.
That is correct. You're right.
Or if you're a classical musician, I need to be able to say, okay, we're reading the crescendos and decrescendos, or we're not reading those marks, the dynamic markings. But if you don't know that, I might just, we're going to swell here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just knowing the terminology.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
That's the diversity that, learning more gives you. You know what I'm saying? And different, again, in jazz it's different. We swinging it. You know what I'm saying? Like what does that mean if you're in classical? You don't know what swing is.
No, you don't know.
That's a feel.
They only know 50-50. That's it. They don't know 60-40.
Exactly right. So I mean, I think this is incredible information. I do want to talk now, because we talked about different parts of your career, the different influences, the different great people you work with, Winton, Hezekiah Walker. I want to talk about the Clark sisters. Oh, tell us about that.
Oh, well, the Clark sisters, while with Bishop Walker, I connected with Dorinda, Dr. Cole. connected at the Kojic convocation. She thought it was something so different, and from there our relationship just kind of grew.
You performing as a trumpetist. Mm-hmm. Right.
She thought it was something so different. She was like, "Oh my God, I just love you." And so she would always bring me in to perform for her anniversary, for her appreciation service.
Okay, cool.
So from there, I became her director of her education for the Singers and Musicians Conference.
Nice.
And so she and the Clark sisters began to mentor me more as an artist.
Wow.
Behind the scenes, and so and we're still close to this day. We don't talk every day, but
you have a relationship.
Oh, absolutely. It will never go.
And they're legends. So
absolutely. And I learned from the best from them. Yeah. So being between Winton, the Clark sisters, and Bishop Walker, those have been very pivotal relationships.
That's some amazing teachers.
So with like Dorinda, Dr. Cole, I was with her for about 6 to 8 years.
Wow.
I would travel with her. I opened up for her. I was an assistant.
Wow.
I wrote all the curriculums for the Singers and Musicians Educational Conference. I connected, I bridged a partnership with Berklee College of Music and the Singers and Musicians Conference.
Wow.
And I did it.
That's amazing.
I did it.
That's amazing. I think one, I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't know that, but also.
And guess what? I didn't get paid a lot either.
But it didn't matter. You were honestly connected to the right people.
Well, that was another. I wasn't even thinking about money. I just that's an
opportunity of a lifetime to be mentored by legends.
Which it just happened. It happened organically.
Right.
It was
you
just
didn't go seeking and say, "Hey, I want you to mentor me."
No, it just happened. It
right. It happened divinely.
Divinely, yes, it happened. And I just as a matter of fact, I invested more.
Wow.
I paid my way to places.
That's what
and I didn't mind. I didn't mind because there's such great women to be around. They invested in me as a woman, and a woman as an artist. They shared with me this clothes that we wear as artists on stage that we don't wear when we're going to church.
Wow.
You have stage clothes and you have your regular clothes. So those are like little nuances that I did not know.
So I want to get into that because that was the next thing I wanted to talk about. Like you being a woman in this industry and the fact that you have some of the greatest women of all time that you had access to and you get to mentor with. What was it like? I mean, we talked about this, I think, in brief about being in Brooklyn and New York and all the church scene, but also being the only woman in the band. Like, tell us about some of the
hard
challenges
times
about that. Yeah, because
I had a hard time. I had a very hard time. It's funny because me and Bishop Walker, he talked about this on my film.
Okay.
There were times that he saw me struggling because like one of the challenges that I had was that, within the band, I was the only one that was formally trained. So I had a hard time with the language barrier that they would use. Like I didn't understand this. And like they would do like little things like they wouldn't tell me the song. They didn't ready to perform. I would just hear it and have to clank in.
Wow.
Like little things like that. I remember one time they was ready to record and they brought in a whole nother horn section. They were all guys. They didn't think I was going to be able to learn my part, and I learned my part. And Bishop Walker had to get my back because Syreeta's a part of this. Like they would go shed to the side and wouldn't include me. Little stuff like that.
Little exclusive. I mean, I find there's things like that, unfortunately, in that culture in New York. But
is it really? So
Oh yeah. There's a musician culture in New York.
They would, but they were from like DC or whatever.
I'm sure there's a musician culture in DC.
Yeah, too. But like they were all.
But you said that they came to play with your band, so that's.
They excluded me from the rehearsal time.
Wow.
Or like. I didn't know that they were rehearsing.
Wow.
And
this
I didn't
is the section.
The section.
Okay. But they also probably, not any excuse, but I'm sure that they probably played together.
They played together.
So
they played and they had a new, but they was coming into our house.
Into your situation.
And so I didn't know anything.
Wow.
And like, when rehearsals were, I didn't know, Like they wouldn't show me the parts. So,
wow.
Like turn around and go, it's like this. They just kind of came in, so like those little.
See if you catch it.
Yeah, like after a while, so that was a big struggle. Then after a while, it eased up.
Right.
Because I was nailing all my parts, and then so the gentlemen, the guys, and they start respecting me.
They earn the respect. Exactly.
I earned the respect. And then remember, I was going to the Blue Note. I was,
right. You was already exposing yourself to those high level.
Yeah, because remember that was, but La Fellowship, they didn't know I was going to hang out and play at the clubs after church, because I was steady perfecting my craft.
Right.
I was playing trumpet 6 and 8 hours a day.
Wow.
In church, and then I was going down, learning. I was getting my chops, working on my chops. I was doing music all day long. Yeah. So that was very hard. The girls in the choir, because remember, I was a part of the band. Mm-hmm. So like when we traveled, I would get partnered in with the girls in the rooms and stuff like that.
The singers.
The singers and things like that. But the conversations was different, because the things that, like, they were arguing over who's going to stand on the front row.
Right.
For me, that was, you
have a place.
I had a place, but also I'm thinking music.
Right.
I'm
not who's in front.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. I didn't know the front row is a big thing in choirs.
Wow.
Who's on the front row, and to me it's like, so
I'm sure it is though.
And so like also little things like I didn't have a microphone.
Well, that's what I'm about to say. Front row to me equates to, I'm singing in the microphone. They like my voice better.
But see, like for me and the band, I play an acoustic instrument.
Right.
So like, part of the, I never, sometimes
they didn't have you in the rider?
I didn't have, sometimes I wasn't in the rider. Sometimes I had to play without a microphone.
Wow.
Stuff like that. So I had to deal with a lot of
the space.
Yeah. So so I had to kind of like overcome those challenges. Yeah. There were days I definitely got discouraged and didn't want to be a part. I didn't feel like I was a part. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes there were a couple of times where budget didn't allow for me to travel.
Wow.
There's real talk, because I wasn't a needed instrument.
Right. I got you. Wow.
Or there were times where because I was an accessory instrument, I had to get on the bus and I couldn't fly.
Wow.
And I feel some kind of way about that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm a part of the band today, but now I'm part of the band. But then the older I get, I understand, you can't pay for...
It's logistics.
Yeah, but remember when you're new coming into it...
You take things personal and not understanding it.
All the logistics of it. Only the nucleus need to fly. You don't need a trumpet player to carry the service. Right. To be back for service. Right. So that kind of a thing. So the more I matured and I understood a lot better.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. How did your...
But like even on the jazz scene, I dealt with a lot of...
Oh yeah, tell me.
Like on the jazz scene, I dealt with, it was more things like I didn't know my stuff. Even like when we were in college, I was plus size girl, I had my little overalls on. You remember those days? Mm-hmm. They used to challenge me, like I never forget one challenge I had, and they tried to play me for a punk.
Wow.
And we were hungry in college. Mm-hmm. And there's the Arben's book, it was just the Trumpet Bible, and it was $3 a page we were playing against.
Wow.
And you couldn't miss a note on the page. And they was playing me because remember, I remember I didn't get into Mason Gross. I was at Douglas, right. But I was still studying with Prof.
Right.
And so there was 2 guys, and we were in the practice room. You had to call for, if you messed up, you had to call for $3.
Wow.
And so I won.
So they had to pay you.
They had to pay me, and I needed that because I wanted to eat at the Chinese place and at the grease trucks.
At the grease trucks.
So, but I won. I think we did like 30 pages back to back with what was happening while they were out hanging out. That's why I didn't know about the parties.
Yeah, I didn't go to the parties.
No, because I was practicing.
Yeah. You was doing what you're supposed to do. Yeah. But I think. See, that's good because.
I was doing what I was supposed to do.
You were supposed to do that.
But remember, I didn't know. I don't know anything else. Is what I'm saying to you.
I think that God has a unique way of doing that because sometimes He puts the adversity because the adversity was you didn't get in. So these are people who are probably in.
Yes, they were in.
So they have the comfort and they're good. They're already in the school, and they probably have a certain level of skills. So they're probably relying on that.
But I didn't.
You had to work, so you're like, man, I ain't got time. I don't know about no party. I'm here to work.
But I was in that bubble room. I didn't even know.
No, but I think that was divine.
You think so? So
you got the money, didn't you?
I did get the money. But no, so I promise you, I did not even know Rutgers was even having parties.
Wow.
I'm so serious.
Wow.
Because all I knew was going to practice.
Yeah.
And I went to George C. Rice Church on Sundays.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had parties.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen.
Hey, guess when I found out?
When?
Today.
When I told you.
When you told me.
Well, again, that's a different culture. Like, I would just even say, as a musician, if I had just gone there and my brothers weren't involved in the social culture,
you could have been in the bubble.
I would have been in the bubble too. I mean, maybe better off, maybe not. But I mean,
you know, like Brandon was in the bubble.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was definitely that. Well,
he was in. They were what the gospel choir and in school.
Yeah,
and I mean, and you know, Mason Gross.
And remember Kenny? Remember Kenny Kaiga Banu? They played the drums.
No.
Because we used to do a little gig at Tumulties.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Every Friday night.
I didn't know that.
And then Brad played the piano at the Hilton. And on Thursday nights.
Woodbridge?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Now Woodbridge was right. Is the Hilton still there?
Where
right near New Brunswick, East Brunswick, right there. He played the piano.
Yeah. I think I know.
And then he sent me the sub because I had to learn how to play piano.
Nice.
And I would do because paid $150.
It was like what, a cocktail kind of gig?
You just play the piano.
Just playing the piano, didn't matter.
Didn't even matter.
Wow, that's cool.
So you told me today that I had no clue there were parties all these years.
Oh yeah, but again, it's different cultures in the school. I mean, like because. You know,
well, I didn't even know there was a black community at Rutgers.
A huge black community.
I didn't. As a matter of fact, I didn't know that.
We just went to a Greek thing this past, I think last year or this past.
Wait,
year.
are you a Greek?
I'm not a Greek, but we went to a Greek thing, and you know how many Greeks were there?
No, I don't.
I can show you some video. I'll show you some pictures. But it was so many people there. I mean, like some people that I came to the school with, because I told you I went through Livingston. I have friends that were pledging when I was there. You know what I mean? At Livingston.
All this is new because I don't think I was on Douglas campus and Mason Groves.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I was at all the campuses.
And I didn't know anything.
Because like my brother was a DJ. So, you know, they ended up
So you got around.
Oh yeah, I was into, I mean, I only went there because of my brother. My brother
Yeah.
But when I say that I mean, like there's gonna be a whole thing about it. But when I say that they outshined almost every group there with what they did, I mean, it was just a time in the 90s, like because my brother worked at Diddy's studio. My aunt ran it, and my brother worked there.
Yeah.
So what he ended up doing parties. Him and my cousin. My cousin did the same thing in Atlantic City. They would do parties with Biggie, with Mace, with the DJs, DJ iRock. So
I'm oblivious to that whole world.
They created a culture that was around the biggest era in hip hop in the East Coast, which was the bad boy era.
Yeah. How are we on time? Because we sitting there chatting.
No, we're good. We're gonna get through. I mean, again, we'll still edit.
Yeah, all right, okay.
But so like,
I'm talking on my time.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, what time you got?
I got to 3.
3 what?
I could leave it. Got until 3. Is it 3:00 now?
It's past 3.
Oh Jesus! Okay,
so let's wrap up.
All right, okay.
All right, so we can go into that all day, but there was parties. So I do want to just talk about some of the things you're doing now. I know, congratulations, you just did a partnership with the Grammy Museum. Tell us about that.
Well, I currently sit on the Board of Governors.
Congrats.
Thank you for the New York chapter. And so last year,
that's NARAS.
NARAS, the Recording Academy, yeah. So last year we rebranded and recurated what Grammys in the schools look like.
Wow.
And so it was a huge success. So we redid the entire curriculum. We had Coco Jones. We had over...
And the actress.
Yes, singing actress. We had over 20 master classes that went from music production to PR, behind the scenes of musical theater. It was a very well curated program. So I did the curriculum for that.
Wow.
Which led to what's happening now, the Grammy Museum has implemented a scholarship in my name. The Trumpet Lady Scholarship. Thank you. A Trumpet Lady Scholarship that's going to be given to a young lady that will be attending Grammy camp every year.
Wow.
So I'm really excited about that, because being that I don't have children, that's a way to leave legacy.
Absolutely.
To have legacy, and so I'm very, very excited about that. And also serving and being a part of the Recording Academy. So that I have new music that's coming out.
Wow.
With you, I redid With You, I'm Born Again.
Okay.
Which the great Billy Preston and Syreeta Wright, who I was named after.
Wow.
Syreeta Wright, I went and redid it with Tom Naziola, who's a classical composer. And so I actually sang. I took voice lessons.
Wow.
And singing it, and so I'm really excited about that. It's a great. I think we did a great job on the arrangement. There's like a Bill Evans kind of interlude in there. So, and then I have Blow Your Horn, Making Music in a Man's World, which started out as a documentary feature, but now is in pitch phase as a docu-series.
Wow.
So Harvey Mason Jr. is in it.
Wow.
Felicia Butterfield Jones, who was the vice president of the Recording Academy, who's now at Google. She's in it. In Vogue Music is in it.
Wow.
Bishop Hezekiah Walker is in it. And we talk about it's not a male bashing film.
Okay.
That's the thing. It's not male bashing. It's exploring the challenges of what I've had to go through and other female musicians.
Yeah.
Like all our characters are different. Like for me, most people know me as the Trumpet Lady. So I've built Trumpet Lady as a brand and still building it. A lot of the female musicians that are in it, they've been more of a side musician.
Okay.
I think Brittany, she's part of Vixen. She's a rock and roller.
Wow.
And so in rock and roll, they call her Gun for Hire. Nice. Something I had to learn.
Right.
Vidi Williams, who played with Nelly, Beyonce, bassist, and then another young lady, Brittany. She's a drummer. She's played with everybody. I can't think of all the names right now, but they all have different stories on navigating as side musicians and what's it like to be a woman in this industry, and navigating. In Vogue, because they're a legacy group, talk about ageism.
Wow. Yeah.
Why isn't the standard of beauty someone in their 30s? In their 60s.
Right.
So we take in it. So it took me from concept to reality to really develop the story. Martin Shore, who's my co-director, he really encouraged me to take a look at it and really he helped me to really framework it, to develop the story, because the story is the arc of it.
Okay.
And so I did the entire soundtrack myself.
Nice.
And so we're in pitch phase.
That's great.
Well, in Jesus' name. So I also have Larkin and Poe in it. Larkin and Poe is a folk group. They're like 3-time Grammy Award winners.
Wow.
They're a sister duo. One plays like the sitting guitar, and another one plays guitar. So they're in it, So what I like about it is multicultural and it's very diverse. And they're two sisters. I mean, it's just a diverse range of having everybody. I also have there was a young lady who used to follow me on social media. She's a trumpet player. Okay. And she's from a part of the LGBTQ plus community. Okay. So I got her story on there too, because she said that people would, not hire her for gigs because she's a part of the LGBTQ plus community. Wow. And I'm like, oh, that's, story. I'm like, this is very interesting. So, I got, just to get their different perspective and story, I got it all on camera. I'm still filming while I'm pitching. So hopefully it's going to all come together.
Add more content. Absolutely. Because it's a series now.
It's a series now. And so that's where we're at. And it's been...
That's amazing.
From 2018 to now, from story to concept.
Wow. That's amazing.
So now I do more theaters and jazz festivals now.
Okay. That's cool.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, I think we evolve into what we want to be and where we want to be, and I think we got to do what's best for us.
Absolutely,
that gives us life, fills our cup, as they call it. And I think what you're doing.
Thank you for having me.
Is amazing. Absolutely. I mean, what's something that you could share, and you could just look into the camera if you want.
Because I've been looking at you the whole entire time.
No, that's
because we've been talking.
We're just having a chat. But I would love for you to share with like a young lady who's a musician or a singer. I mean, singers probably get more opportunities, but like somebody,
the field is very crowded for singers.
It is. It's super.
It's
crowded.
very, very crowded.
Depending on the genre as well, too.
Yep.
But I think that you can just give some encouragement to an up and coming, definitely a musician first, because I think that one of the things I thought was incredible in this lifetime was seeing Beyonce do an all-female band.
Yeah,
I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't see that.
No.
You don't see those.
And those are the only kind of gigs that females get hired for. And we talk about that in the film.
Yeah, because
why are those the only gigs we can get?
Unfortunately, I think one of the issues, and I don't know the particulars of these issues, but I think that there's an amazing bass player I got to work with from England. She's in the Broadway musical Six, I think it's called, and she's an amazing musician. And I saw some challenges that she had, just being a female. Like guys have a guy culture, you know what I'm saying,
and trying to have to figure and navigate in that.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, some of the things also just naturally, just the natural woman and man relationship.
Well, you know what, I mean, and even to speak to that point, I know I got to get going. What I've learned as a woman and being in this is to stay true to who you are. Like I believe in femininity. I'm not a man, and I'm very clear on that.
Right.
And as a female musician, it's important to carry yourself in who you are at all times.
Yeah.
You will be respected in how you carry yourself.
Absolutely.
So as I matured into who I was coming from a side musician to being more the trumpet lady, I had to learn how to be more of an artist and be more of a woman. So there's certain things like, for example, if we were out on the road together and there's a band, I won't be with the band.
Right.
Because I'm not finna have a guy talk.
Right.
Guys and women don't talk about the same things.
Absolutely.
So I had to learn that that's okay. That's okay. And I think that's something that female musicians struggle with. You got to know who you are, whose you are, and who you are, and you have to be comfortable in your womanhood.
Yeah.
And you have to have balance.
Yeah.
People don't know how to cook. I'm really a homebody.
Yeah, me too. I don't like to go nowhere.
There's a time and a place for everything.
Absolutely.
So you have to understand that being a musician, that's my job. But me as a woman is different.
Right. Absolutely. So what encouragement? I'll give you two things, and then I think we can go.
Okay.
One is encourage a young, up and coming musician. Maybe they're playing the clarinet in a band right now, or they playing the piano. What words of encouragement would you give them to
a young lady or a male? Any of them?
I would say a young lady. I want to be specific.
Yeah. Well, I would say to a young lady that's playing an instrument. I'm going to look at you, Manny. I would say that's playing an instrument. I would say first, focus on studying your craft, because craftsmanship is so vital and is so important. The music is the star of the show. That's it. Yes, you're going to deal with the emotional side. You're going to deal with being overlooked. You're going to deal with feeling rejection. But if the music is the star of the show, your skill set and your craftsmanship will speak for itself. Secondly, I would say is 2 words: don't stop.
That's great.
Don't stop. Because if you stop, then you can't accomplish it.
Right. And there was something I just said. Completion is like the main thing. If you complete things, there's a certain satisfaction and a certain growth that comes with just completing.
Absolutely.
You know it from school. You know it from every.
And
aspect
you have to grow.
Life.
You have to grow into it. And the more music, and also music is infinity. You could never master music, but when you're so ingrained into the music, your music is going to. Like I was so into practicing and doing what I needed to do, I didn't focus on a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't aware, and this is gonna sound very silly. I wasn't aware that people looked at me as a female musician until later on.
Wow.
Because I was so busy into the craft and
music.
it was it was notes, and I was a half step from Brandon mentally.
Wow.
And you know how he was.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I think I was talking like just like that just came on.
Yeah.
I'll be trying to figure out what key that's in. I'm always thinking music all day long. So I wasn't thinking that people gonna look at me as she's a girl playing it. Because I'm thinking about music.
I'm just music. Yeah. It's crazy. One thing I reflect on in my development as a musician, when I was in high school, I didn't think about how many hours I spent practicing. I just practiced. I just wanted to know what I didn't know. And I'm like, I would spend time. And even now I can get like really focused on stuff like that because that's why I got to be careful because I got a day job. Like I'll come down and I say, when I get in the studio, I can get lost in the studio.
Because there's
so many things to do and time is it just goes away.
Yeah, it's passion.
I love that. But you gotta be careful. You gotta still set time for it, set your boundaries.
And have balance.
So you can have balance. Exactly.
And that's something that I've learned later on in life as balance. Because I've studied so much music, I started learning that I didn't have balance. So like I had a hard time, and this is something Brandon and I talk about, I had a hard time socializing.
Wow.
Because I don't go to clubs because the music is too loud.
Right.
And I use my ears for a living, so that's not going to work. And it's dark in there.
Yeah. What's going on in there?
I mean, it's dark, so I can't see. So I'm going to put on heels and all that. Can't nobody see me because it's dark. And my feet are hurting. I got a small, cute purse. I I personally don't see the enjoyment in that. I grew up in church. Well, I'm walking into a dark place. I got on heels. My feet are hurting. You can't eat. Because you need a drink.
Right.
You can't hardly talk. The music is loud.
No, listen.
So it's
I think being a musician, you get into a different culture. Like that looks differently as a musician.
Yeah, exactly.
One, there's a stage you're performing on, or you're going to enjoy your performance. So.
Yeah, and it's like I never fit in going to clubs.
Yeah, I never was into that.
So I had to find my lane of where I fit, and so I fit more in I like food. So I'm a foodie. So I joined the James Beard Foundation.
Oh, okay.
And things like that. So I like going to dinners and, I've had to find balance and I go to wine tastings and things like that. Find my balance on what I like socially.
Yeah.
Because the club is not going to happen for me because I use my ears for a living. Yeah. So I'm not going to sacrifice my living and have a broken eardrum, and I can't see it because it's dark.
Yeah. It's funny you say that.
Somebody's dark and what else?
Exactly. What's going on? I told you I did the show in London 2 weeks ago. And so this show in London, so the promoter said, hey, we're going to the club, the night before the show. You should come. So I'm like, all right. So we went to the club and it was exactly what you said. Super loud, super dark. I could barely see him. I'm like, I got to touching everybody walking. It's packed. And I'm like,
and it's sweaty and hot.
And this is not my scene.
That's not your
it's not my scene. I mean, I've been to, but like I said, the last time I was into situations like that was in college.
Right.
And my brother was the promoter.
Right. So you had an in already. Yeah.
We were part of the party.
Right,
we were taking, we was greeting people at the door, taking the money and stuff like that. So I've always seen music and parties and even concerts because that's the same thing. We've been on the stage, not necessarily always in the audience. So. I see things in that way. I'm always thinking who's the sound person? We would see Stevie. I'm where's the sound man?
Right, because you're looking at it
I'm looking at it from that lens. And so in a party, I'm like, okay, the DJ's right there, and it's so dark. And the only thing that kept me in there, because I literally, we were in there 5 minutes, and then my wife was like, let's go outside. So we go outside because it's hot in there, everything.
That's what so you mean tell me I'm going to put on my good perfume and my good dress,
and it's gonna mean nothing.
So I done went to all this effort, and it ain't gonna. And your hair is gone. You can't hear you. I can't hear. I can't see. My feet hurt, and we not gonna eat. And then I got to pay $30 for a drink too.
Right, crazy. So the only reason why we stayed, and we didn't stay that long. Only reason why we went back inside is because the promoter said, "Hey, they're gonna play your record.
I went in there.
So then I'm like, okay, this is why as an artist you would go.
That's an incentive.
You want to see the response, and you talking about a record that I put out years ago. Yeah. So I did get to see a response. It was positive. I recorded some of it, and it was just like, okay, that was dope to see that. Because I'm in London. I don't even know these people.
But that's a different incentive.
Right. You know? But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the only thing that made sense.
Right.
This is not my scene. Nothing against it. I know it's a scene that is popular.
So you a church boy.
I'm a church boy. Yeah. My mother had us in church all my life. So
that ain't your thing.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I can enjoy aspects of it. Right. But like in doses. You know what I'm saying? In doses.
and small ones.
Yeah. I mean, even church. I love church too.
Yeah, but you need
them
in
even
small
I got doses of that too.
Yeah, because after a while, it's like
it becomes something different. You know what I'm saying?
It is definitely something different.
I love it, enjoy it, but haven't done it. Like now, my career in church is probably 30 something years. Easily. Yeah. And so
Yeah, and that means everything that they get riled up over, you don't.
Yeah, it's like I've been there. I've
been there. Got that T-shirt. Got the T-shirt. Pastor going off and all that kind of stuff.
Love it though. But again, it's just different perspective.
I understand.
Different perspective. So again, I think you've said plenty to encourage.
I hope you got enough.
I think we have plenty. I want to say one more thing, if we can. Yeah. I've learned in my career that music is definitely the foundation of your career, my career. How have you been pivoting? Because it sounds like you pivot into other aspects of either music or a different aspect. Tell any independent artist or musician or something like that the importance of being flexible and pivoting when it's time to, because you're going to develop whatever, but then at some point you got to add.
I didn't have a choice but to pivot, because I had to come into the realization that the trumpet is not like I can't go play the drums at a church. It's a single instrument, so the options are very limited. So I found that I rather invest in what I do and pivot. And like, I realized my records went on Billboard not because of gospel, because of the hip hop community got behind my records. Wow. So that was a telltale sign to me that I need to make some different kind of changes. I couldn't get a gospel publicist. I had a hip hop publicist.
Wow.
That got behind me and put me in I was on World Star Hip Hop. Wow. And Double XL. So dressed like this with a trumpet,
that's cool though.
So, yeah, but that's what they thought, and I was like, oh, okay.
That's what they said.
I was like, cool with me, because I can roll with I can go straight hood, or I can go, straight, Oscars elite, and all that. Elite, I could do all of that. Yeah, so with the pivoting, I found that I had to become more of a business person. So because the Trumpet Lady has started and has developed it more to a brand. Right. And brands, it takes time to build. Yeah. And so when I started becoming more of a business person, with putting out your own records and understanding the business of music. The business of music is one thing, but the business of entertainment is it's a different arm. That's what has helped me to pivot. Like when I have my own staff, like I also have a brand relationship with Swarovski. Wow. That's when I had to learn. I had to take on more of a business entrepreneurial mindset. Yeah. So pivoting as an independent artist, because nowadays you just can't make music alone to survive financially.
Right. Oh, absolutely not.
You have to have so many other things going. Yeah. Because the entertainment industry, the music business, is not lucrative. Right. You have to have other entities going to be successful.
Right. It's just a vehicle get a spotlight on you.
Yes. And so it's important for independent artists to use your music as a business card, but develop other entities and also connect with collaborations and other entities, to move what you do forward. Yeah. So that it is very vital in today's time that independent artists, number one, understand the business of music, but also the business of entertainment, and collaborate and don't take anything for granted. Yeah. And also to learn
the business of music and learn the business of entertainment.
Yeah.
Because learning it is very different. And it's not just with contracts.
Yeah.
Contracts, that's the easy thing.
That's easy.
A contract, but learn the nuances of the business of entertainment and who does what and with what they're doing, and how does it benefit what you're doing. Maybe it's not a good fit.
Right.
Maybe it is. Maybe there's some things there.
I'll say this and we're gonna be done.
Yeah.
One of my mentors says completion is the number one rule in the music business. Mm-hmm. And then one of his colleagues said the number two rule is networking.
Yes.
So those two things, I think you can kind of accomplish a lot. One of the things you said about the charts specific to hip hop versus gospel, I think is very important that we as musicians and independently understand that our music has an audience. Mm-hmm. We have to discover it sometimes.
You have to find your audience.
And sometimes it's not what we think. We could be like, okay, I'm gospel because I'm saved and, I grew up in church, but you might be the next Whitney Houston.
Well, guess what? And to your point, this is triggering me to say this. It's funny because I have a forthcoming event. I think I mentioned to you. And a publicist said, well, I think I should partner you with a top tier artist I looked at her and I'm sitting there saying, why would I pay you or pay a top tier artist to come to my event that I'm raising money for?
Right. And I'm gonna have to pay them. But that's business. That's business.
Yes. But that's business. But why not just get the people that support me?
Right.
And we all have a good time together.
Yeah.
So I had to learn.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing about that, and this is where people don't like to really talk about. It's a slower route, but you got to be in it. What I've learned about this business is that you got to be in it.
Yeah.
And it's a journey.
Yeah.
And the journey is just as important as the destination.
Absolutely.
It's a much slower route.
It is a slower route.
Because why would I pay a top tier celebrity to partner in on my event that I gotta pay?
Yeah,
I have to pay this person to show up, and I get it because it's a business,
right? And I get it.
And
like
they don't have like
they'll bring more eyeballs.
They'll bring more eyeballs. Maybe,
but that's a chance.
That's a chance. So now I gotta pay a gamble.
Yeah,
a gamble with paying this person some money when I could just get people that
you can just spend more money on promotion for
myself and also people that I know.
Yeah.
And we can celebrate each other and we can make relationships with each other.
Absolutely.
So which one makes sense?
No, absolutely.
So I had to learn that the hard way almost.
Yeah.
That I'd rather invest in me and invest in the people. That's why I'm here with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because we're gonna go together.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, so I told the public, and I had another publicist look at it. She said, Syreeta, that's bullshit. That's on the page. That's what she said to me. And I was like, oh, I'm glad you said that. And so wait a minute. And then on top of that, for me to give the artist, whoever actress, whoever it is, a donation to their foundation.
Right.
But that doesn't make sense.
That's not what I'm trying to do.
So I had to put my thinking cap on because I'm thinking, oh, this one, they work with this person, that person, that's what I need. But that's not what I need.
Exactly.
That's not what I need. No. When I could pay 2 publicists the salary that I'm paying that one artist or actress to come to.
And just get more promotion. Now listen, that's the business part of it. I mean, people will give you all of the formulas that they think, but I mean, I'm happy that you came here.
Of course, and we didn't chatted it up.
I know.
We started over there, and then we.
Yeah, it's all right. That's what I knew would happen. So I mean, where can people support your efforts, and where can they follow you?
Well, first of all, I need you to follow me on IG because my account got hacked. So I need more followers on Instagram. Trumpet Lady T on Instagram. I'm all over. You can Google me, Trumpet Lady, trumpetlady.com, trumpetlady.org, Lady Trumpet, anything Lady Trumpet, Trumpet Lady. I own all my domains. That's associated with Trumpet Lady, Lady Trumpet, in any order you can find me.
Got it. So we're going to do that, and we appreciate you sewing into musicians.
Of course.
This is the Musician Shed podcast. check us out for more helpful information helping musicians.
Thanks for listening. To stay up to date between episodes, follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you liked what you heard today, or if there's something specific you want us to dive into next, leave us a comment. Catch you in the next episode.